Hello! Let's start with the presentation of the research titled Visualization as an Intergenerational Link in Distance Learning. The authors are my mentor Sonja Vuk and myself, Zdenko Mikša. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead. Okay, so let me introduce you to the very start of the research. Through anecdotal situations like conversations with colleagues, I was under the impression that no one has had the opportunity to learn about learning. At least not in the school environment. If anyone knew anything at all, it was mostly thanks to the advice of family members. This information was supported by research such as PISA or PIAAC, which shows inadequacy of basic learning skills in young people and adults. Learning how to learn is a skill needed in day-to-day life thanks to the constant acquisition of new technologies and the ever-changing economy. Therefore, a program for learning and remembering through visualization was developed. The developed program is an interpretation of mnemonics, methods to promote creativity and drawing tasks. The objective of this research was to develop a program and examine its effectiveness. Now let me tell you something about the program. The program consists of various videos and accompanying tasks. The content of videos and tasks consists of learning techniques, memory strategies and methods to promote creativity. To measure the effectiveness of the program, participants solved a memory test and the Guilford alternate uses test before and after the program. The memory test was a list of 20 random words that were to be memorized, and in the Guilford test of alternate uses, participants had to indicate as many uses as possible for the given object. The videos were put on YouTube. In the first video, participants were briefly introduced to the goal and content of the learning and memory program. At the end of the video, a link to the memory and Guilford alternate uses test was given. In the second video, we get to the first lesson, Brain and its Power. The video presents data related to the brain in order to show its power. In the accompanying task, Neutralizing Negative Belief Systems, participants dealt with negative beliefs related to self-perception of one's own ability to learn and remember. After identifying the negative belief, the participants passed it through various emotional filters in order to get rid of the negative belief in question. In the second lesson, Basics of Learning, participants were briefly introduced to the basic principles of mind mapping and were offered advice on how to optimize their learning process. In the second task, participants were asked to draw a mind map based on the Basics of Learning video while watching it at the same time. And here you can see some examples of the produced mind maps. In the third lesson titled Reading, participants were introduced to the basics of speed reading. In the task Increased Speed and Comprehension, participants were asked to test their reading speed and their ability to understand the read text. The fourth lesson, Basics of Memory, introduced the concept of mnemonics and their basic forms such as acronyms and interactive images, and the principles of creating associations and visualization. The fourth task, Imagination Meets Fact, asked of the participants to set out on a journey into the imagination that they then had to show with a drawing. The fifth lesson is presenting the link method. Participants were introduced to the link method, a simple way to memorize a list of concepts that develops creativity, imagination, and the power of association. As for the task number 5, in this task, participants were asked to try the link method on a list of 20 random terms. The last lesson, Mind Palace, shows the participants the concept of the Mind Palace, also known as the method of Lossy, or memory map. The task attached is building a private memory system. In this task, participants were asked to build their own mind palace or memory map, and then test it by trying to memorize a list of 10 random words. Okay, now for the discussion and the result. At the beginning of the program, 44 participants completed the first memory test and the Guilford alternate uses test. Only 4 participants were able to complete the second memory test and the Guilford alternate uses test at the end of the program. The 4 participants that completed the whole program had excellent results on the memory test and the Guilford's alternate uses test, which concludes the program's potential effectiveness. The main problem of the study was the motivation of the participants. Participants between the ages of 40 and 60 were the first to drop out of the program. Distance learning and usage of digital technology were perhaps major barriers for this age group. To conclude, if this kind of research gets conducted in the future, attention should be brought to encouraging and maintaining the motivation of the participants. The improved research could seek to answer the question, how can we promote the engagement of distance learning participants in independent work? Whether the program will be more effective without a time limit should also be considered. The whole program was created in Croatian, but if you are interested in it, you can take a look at the videos and tasks by accessing the link shown below. And thank you for your time.